Hey guys, Aaron here, and today on the show, I interview Sev. He was a school teacher, now he's a TikTok sensation with over 1.1 million followers. Yeah, just an amazing chat. I learned heaps. Hopefully you guys do too. And yeah, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, see you guys. Word from the sponsors. FIFO by Aaron Weston, a hilarious novel about all the dodgy stuff that happens in the FIFO industry. And also FIFO number 2, how a drug dealer became a FIFO worker. And we got, for the kids, Australian mining machines. We got Australian firefighters, mining machines colouring in book, Australian Defence Force machines, Australian surf lifesavers, Australian police vehicles, and Australian paramedics. All available under The Aaron White Show on TikTok and Instagram. Also under Children's Books by Aaron White on Facebook. All right, let's get into it. Hi everyone, and welcome to The Aaron White Show. Today I have a fantastic guest, Sev. Sev is he was a school teacher. Now he's a TikTok sensation. He has over 1.1 million followers. Welcome to the show, Sev.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks you for having me. Really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Hey, today I just want to hear your story, like how and where you grew up, any life-changing events, and how you end up doing what you're doing today.
Start with just migrated from the former Soviet Union. A former province, which is now known as Kyrgyzstan, and moved here in '97. Came here and didn't know any English, and went straight into school, learnt English, figured that out, got into playing footy, and then during high school moved to Kalgoorlie for a little bit, learnt the country life there, and was fortunate enough to go over 3 different sort of demographics where, you know, I had the foreign aspect, the country Aussie aspect, and then the city Aussie aspect. So covered all 3 there. And I moved back to Perth after I finished high school in hopes of chasing my AFL dream, and started playing in the Waffle for 8 years. Halfway through that career, I picked up a camera because I had an ACL injury and was out for 12 months. And also during that time, I was doing a teaching degree. 2017, I wrapped up my footy career, lost my passion for it completely. I don't even watch footy anymore. And finished my degree in the same year and began teaching. Then, so that was one massive moment for me, was the ACL injury back in 2015, where I was unable to play for the entire season because I did it in the prelim. I think it was 2014. And then, 2015 was a complete write-off. So that's where I started to really get into my photography and my creative side. Something that I could do individually without anyone refereeing or another teammate competing against or letting me down or me letting them down. So that was that. And then after 2017, when I became a full-time school teacher, I just said, sweet, I've done my studies. I don't have a dedicated sport to commit to. I'm just going to teach, see how that goes. And also whilst I began to really take my photography seriously, I remember I started doing random tours around Perth with just random people from Instagram. And I really enjoyed that. And that started to blow up really quickly within a couple of months. Went from 1 to 2 people coming and hanging out with me in the city, taking photos, to 120 people rocking up for an event within 3 months. And this was during a time where Instagram stories came out. So I had a little bit more of a, hey, let's put myself in the front of the camera on Instagram and start talking in the story section. And that was like the prelude of where I was going for on TikTok. TikTok came about in 2019 when my students were using it, and I was like, what's this? This is cool. I'll check it out as well. And then I kind of used my Instagram stories experience to just share those 15, 30-second moments with on TikTok. Didn't think much of it until the students started finding my content on TikTok. I didn't even advertise that. And long story short, the kids loved it. I posted more, it grew, And then all at the same time, just before 2020 started, I decided to take my photography full time for a year to see how it happens, to see what would happen. And as the pandemic hit, I went back to school part-time just to, pay the bills. And this was the perfect time for my TikTok to really blow up because I had more time at home and people were glued to their phone more than ever before. And it just was good timing. So that was another part of a big moment for me where I managed to leverage TikTok whilst the majority of the attention was on there. Any other moment in time on social media, most people were bored at home in lockdown or, restricted, and they're on their phones and that. But from there, pretty much, I didn't need to go back to school after 2020, and I haven't looked back since. And with the help of TikTok, building my own personal brand, completely organically, and with no real kind of clue or strategy behind it. I just enjoyed what I did, photography first, then video, and then just talking like I am now, putting it out there, and was like, okay, I'm going to put out some videos about my business just to see what happens. And then next minute, it was a closed shut case of booked out for the next 2 years as a wedding photographer, and odd jobs here and there for shooting people's families with a camera, and doing odd jobs for things like for people like doctors, and shooting in theater and taking photos of their procedures. And doctors have got good money. they pay well for content like that. And now I've been able to extend that experience and what I've done to places like LinkedIn and talk about it. And now companies are hiring me to advise them and their marketing team. Marketing agencies are coming to me saying, can you teach us how to leverage our business, our company, our clients on TikTok the way you did for yourself and your own business? So that's the nutshell of it all. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking to start my own agency and fully go all in on that for the next few years, see how it happens whilst still maintaining my personal brand. I don't really like calling it an influence, but when you do have some sort of leeway and perspective to help guide others, I'm more of a guide than an influence, because I don't want to influence someone to go, this is what you have to buy. I want to kind of go, this is what I use. And that's very important to me, that integrity. This is what I've been using for the last X years. I highly recommend it. And I can speak with full confidence because it is purely from my observation, and it's a true testimonial. And with that, because of that, I feel that organic sharing is why this has been so successful. There's no money grab here. There's no, oh yes, let me take that offer for that much money from you and I'll post it to my followers. There's never been a time like that. It's always been, who can I leverage to get free stuff off that I need, like computers or whatever, and post it and promote it and say, thank you for that. I'm going to promote you guys because you helped me out. So same with like what I'm wearing now, this hoodie, sneak peek to the winter coming up, local brand, friend of mine. And I said, hey, I like this hoodie. I'll wear it as much as I can over winter in all of my winter TikTok videos. Let's do it. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And I believe in the product. And since identifying that, I noticed a few gaps in the market, in the marketing world, where agencies are failing to really push that forward into the brands that hire them. They're the middleman, but they're sort of like the take all the profits, as much profits as we can. And, the campaigns are not as great. So they don't really connect the right creators / influencers with the brands to come up with a really good outcome, unless they pump a lot of money into ad spend. So my mission with this is to come in and go, you can do both. It's good if you do organic and paid, but you don't need to waste all your money into paid ads. There's a way to build your brand where it becomes more so from the organic side, where you can save money and let it build all time, just like Nike does, like McDonald's. Those two places don't really need to market anymore because they're a colossal, because they have that community. They have that kind of generational, hey, Michael Jordan used Nike, I want to use Nike now, you know, even though he's technically a brand label. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is any new brands or companies starting out, or I'm not really into the social media space, they need to find people that already would love them, would be able to, you know, talk bells and whistles about them and promote them, not some random person who's just doing it for a paycheck. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
So with your agency, are you going to employ, so you're going to hit up TikTok people or Instagram people to come on board? Tell us how that works. So if you found like a good TikTok influencer just tell us how you're going to find your clients and stuff like that.
So I'm trying to find people that have good charisma, natural charisma, that come in with intent, that can actually put the message across. And it depends on what industry it is, because if you're a lifestyle influencer talking about, you know, the home and the outdoors, I'm not going to get you to promote a computer program or an app, unless it's obviously niche to the lifestyle. But I have also this talent, so I've been told, that I can grab almost anyone and get them to seem like they can organically pitch that product like they use it all the time, which is, you know, what a good director can do with an actor in playing in a role. But in saying that, movies have casting people that cast the right people that can do that role properly. And there's auditions and stuff. Whereas in social media, you look at people's content that has already been made, that's their audition tape. It already exists. And that's a clue for if you want to become a creator / influencer, make your highlight reel, make your audition tapes as your content, because brands are they're looking for people that are already using that content. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone that's already done it, because TikTok specifically, they've got something called Spark ads, which means I can go to someone else's account, find a video that is already talking about the product, and I just message them and say, hey, this video is perfect for our campaign. Do you mind sending us the authorization code that they can generate with this, so long as they don't have copyright music, which is a tough one. So let's say they have an organic sound, or that's just their voice with the review and no commercial music slapped in the background. They can send me a code and I can boost that on behalf of the brand that hired me to make this ad campaign without reposting the video, without downloading anything. It's just a white label video done. Coolest thing about that is if people go to their profile, it doesn't appear as an ad if they're looking at it from their profile. It appears separately on the For You page. And even better, their views and engagement goes up for that video for their channel. So it's a win-win, right? And that's the approach that the companies and the brands are starting to take now. And they're not utilizing it correctly yet, because they're going straight into not Spark ads, but proper ads that are too commercial looking that you'd see on TV and pre-roll YouTube and things like that. The UGC is the most important thing that will come out over the next couple of years, user-generated content, where it's just literally the person talking about the product. And the difference, the variable of success of a successful video is literally the compassion in that person. Are they actually genuinely excited about this, or are they doing it for, you know, just because that they paid? And coming back to my skill of being able to bring that emotion out, even if it's for the first time. Whereas some people can be shy even though they genuinely like the product or the service that they've just received. You can be a good typewriter, be a good copywriter, and everybody can read Google reviews and stuff like that and go, oh yeah, cool, that's a 5-star review, cool. These can be faked. But what can't be faked is these videos, these user-generated content videos. I'm not saying that I can pull out a phony message from my people. I can just really amplify the authenticity to make it real good. One cool thing about this is in America, the insurance companies are actually asking their clients, when they fill out an insurance claim, to record a video of them talking about what happened. And insurance claims have gone down because, one, people are not comfortable in front of the camera, and two, they're not comfortable about lying in front of the camera. So you can see how many people have bailed out of that. And with that is a dead giveaway of what is to come with content, video, visual, audio, human element content, to help people go, all right, I've seen all the Google reviews. I want to see someone talking about it in person. I want to be that there, because the best form of marketing is word of mouth. So when someone tells someone about it, it's like, oh, where did you get how did you find me? Oh, old mate told me. If that becomes a video of that person telling that person, and I'm posting it, I want that. That's the best content. And that's come with 2 years of doing that with my photography. Anytime someone gives me a review, I'm like, do you mind if I can record that? Can we do a Zoom call and I can interview you and I can record it and that can be a testimonial? Nobody's doing this for some reason. Nobody. And I think the reason for that would be because the person on the other end is, again, too shy and too awkward, or a little bit hesitant of being on the internet with their face, or the person that wants to market themselves doesn't realize it yet and doesn't see the value in it. And that's where I'm going. It's not just TikTok, it's how you grab someone's attention. And the best way to do that is with someone talking about the product. There's nothing better.
All right. I got heaps of different questions. But one, because I know you said that you started off with your Instagram and you went up interviewing people randomly, and then you had to put yourself in front of the camera. Were you nervous putting yourself in front of the camera, or that didn't phase you? The first time?
Initially, I remember the first time, because when I started doing stories on Instagram, I was just putting up like new post, and I would just be sharing my own post in a new post with a fancy writing. And I would be putting different graphics around, like hashtag graphics and stuff. And then someone told me one day, I'll never forget this, but they said, Sev, why don't you're pretty outgoing already. Why don't you turn the camera around, put it on yourself and talk about whatever it is. Just do it. And I was a bit hesitant, but then I was just like, what have I got to lose? And the difference in that was, if someone does judge me, because I grew up in a toxic footy environment, I had all the boys, they would roast me. But at the same time, looking back, it wasn't really toxic. It was just banter, really. And, some people can see it as bullying, but I was just like, you know what? It helped me strengthen myself. I was hesitant because of it, but now I'm stronger because I'm like, who cares? If they're laughing with me, great. If they're laughing at me, great. They're watching my content. That's a win. So I said, stuff it, let's do it. I had a bit of a resistance at first. I had some mates going, what the fuck? Why are you doing this? Who are you? And then like a few years later, you have a podcast yourself. What are you doing? Okay, 28-year-old white male. And then now I'm like, well, shit, it's got me on a billboard, buses, I'm on TV ads, YouTube pre-roll, and I'm 2 years in barely. So if I had gone back then and not pulled the trigger on that, gotten that confidence to then be able to go stuff it, I'm just going to bang out a TikTok right here, right now. Everyone's around, because I don't care about anyone judging and thinking it's weird. I love that, by the way. I think it's hilarious when someone is uncomfortable because it's not normal for them. I think that's hilarious. I don't want to disrupt people's day. They disrupt their own day by going, that bothers me. But instead of them saying that bothers me, they say, this bothers people. No, it doesn't. It bothers you. So then I'm just like, well, you're not my audience. And if you're not my audience, then that's fine, because I'm not for everybody. And with that mindset, I feel invincible. But in saying that, I don't allow myself to become complacent, where I get to the point where I say something far out that, is a little bit left field and dangerous and cancelable. And I've come close a few times. Some of those times I feel that it wasn't really that bad. It was just the whole PC universe coming together and going, nah, that's offensive. No, it's not offensive. You're offended.
Yeah. Tell us about the whole Twisties bathing suit thing. Was that a paid sponsorship, or what happened there?
Yeah. So with that, an agency approached me, one of the top agencies in the world, actually, who have Twisties as a client. There's an NDA there somewhere, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who it is, but if they look it up, then I'll probably figure it out. But they approached me, and I was just like, wow, you guys, that's cool. And we started talking, and we started going, this is our idea. And I'm like, yeah, cool, sweet. And my writer, Dave, he came up with a few extra ideas, and they loved how I went over, above and beyond, because, looking at how other influencers do it, other creators do it, they have the one idea and then just run with it. I gave them 5 ideas, and they were already keen on doing another campaign with me after that. But that was fun. I've got a funny, interesting story I haven't shared about this, actually, online, because the campaign is still currently live. But I'll keep the names separate to protect the innocent and guilty. But in that Twisties campaign, in the video, there was a moment where I was playing indoor footy. I don't know if you remember that bit.
Remember the net?
Yeah. So I was running around, and that day I was shooting. And then the people of the other brand that I'm a part of, the marketing team, messaged me a screenshot of someone who took a photo of me from behind the net. And they said, this guy's doing public nudity, just FYI. And he comes in at this time of day, every weekday at this time. So someone behind my back took a photo of me in my budgie smugglers. It's a bit weird then already. And went to my bread and butter and said, hey, just so you know. So I was a bit cowardly, it boiled my blood a little bit, but there was nothing to it, because I didn't do anything wrong. And the people that hired me for my other campaign love me, and they say, that's you. That's why we hired you in the first place. But there are other times when that could be a little bit like, depending on who it is, and that's fine. I don't deal with them. If they want to drop me for that because I'm having fun, then I want to promote your stuff. But yeah, with Twisties, that was a fun one. That was really cool. And, we did a separate video on their account that I was part of, that I was actually introducing, and it got over 1 million views. So that was cool. But growing up with Twisties, like being a kid and eating them nowadays, I don't really eat them as much. And it was still cool to promote something that I loved from my childhood. And going back to the whole integrity thing, I don't eat Twisties every day, obviously. Some people can call me out and say, why are you promoting junk food to kids? And I'm like, well, you live once. And if I'm promoting the junk food and you're complaining about it, especially if you're trying to protect your kids from bad food, then you should give them that education to help regulate it. Or it's your call, It's not like every kid's going to buy Twisties and eat them every day from me. I mean, that'd be a great campaign success, but at the same time, I'll follow up with a message saying, I notice everybody's eating Twisties now, but just chill out for a bit, look after yourself and make sure you eat your meat. That's it. I don't eat vegetables.
What was your first sponsorship?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, was it that far ago? Long ago.
I just have a really shit memory. Far out.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be your first one. But
The most distant one, probably I think I did like some sort of thing for Camera Electronic, which I'm sponsored by them now too. They sent me out like when I was doing those tours, I approached them and they gave me $100 voucher to give away for during the tour for best photo of the night. So that was cool. I guess that counts. And then following up from that, they sent me a product where it's like an off-camera flash from Pro Photo, but for the phone. And I was just like, that's really cool. So the app, like in camera app, yeah, the flash would fire off, and it was really cool. So I did a little bit of a promotion there, and this was before TikTok as well. So that was cool. For TikTok promotions, I think I did some sort of like computer thing, and where I got a couple of like a keyboard, and I did that, and just promoted where I got it from. You can buy it online, so that was cool. But yeah, the most fun one was definitely probably Twisties. And then there's a few others in the pipeline that I'm going to do because I want to get back into gaming as well. That's a really fun one to get into and more universal.
Cool. That's just open up a couple of questions. All right. Teach me. So I'm on TikTok now. I've got a couple 100,000 followers. How do I get sponsorship? How do I go about? Do I reach out to brands? I've linked up with not a creator fund. I've selected the option on TikTok that allows brands to see my content and hit me up if they're interested.
Yeah.
But how would I go about doing
that? From my own personal journey and how I did it was I just kept posting every day. At my peak, I was posting over 10 times a day, but that's me. I was just loving posting videos, just any random idea post, see how it goes. You know, I was addicted to going viral, right?
Yeah.
But I was more addicted to just the craft. And now I've not mastered it, but really, it's really good, especially when people are paying me to teach them. But people reach out to me. I don't have a brand. I don't have an agency behind me, management or anything like that. I tried originally, like half a million followers ago. I tried to reach out to them, but they weren't interested. So I was just like, weird. But I guess, you know, they're lost because I get to negotiate for myself and take all the cut. But I've also done a bit of research behind this in terms of brands, agencies and how they manage other people, other influencers. Their negotiation skills are shit. So I don't want a management place to pitch out for me. The ones that I've come across anyway. But yeah, for me, they just reach out to me. The email and on TikTok, it comes up with a little notification. I got one yesterday, actually. But the details I had to give through the app. I had to like give my passport and stuff. And I was just like, no, thanks. I don't need, why do you need my passport for? Like, this is yeah, nah, don't think so. So I pulled that one. Even though they said it was like some music thing, whatever. But yeah, emails. I probably get 2 or 3 a week now. But I think if I was to reach out to people, I would have a solid template. I would have a plan, like tell them how I would do it. I would have content ready for them to look at, like content, like an example, either something that I've made or someone else has made that's gone viral and say, I can make this for you guys. What do you think? And, you know, talk about different rates and packages. Don't just give them one figure. Give them different options because it gives them a choice, not a yes, no answer. And that's part of Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference book, which I highly recommend everybody, anyone in business that is quoting anything to people, read that book, because that's life-changing. Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. In his book, he said you need to have different entry points, and never ask someone a yes/no question, or avoid a yes/no question. A yes/no answer to the question that you're asking. So I would go and give them options and be creative enough in your writing, which is what I struggle with. Hence why I just make videos and don't bother, to give them an option and make it look like it's their loss if they don't go with one of their packages, or just trial it out, or give it a go and then offer up a retainer after. Creators aren't doing this. And I feel like you don't even need 5,000 followers to do this, as long as you're creative enough and you want to learn from it. The other thing is fear of rejection. You're going to get rejected. You're going to get slapped down, ghosted, no response. You just got to keep trying. 50, 100 attempts, but make sure you tailor every email, every direct message to that company, brand, whatever. Do not cut and paste the same shit. That's a silly idea. I told that to one person after he showed me the setup, his DM template, and I was like, "Are you sending the exact thing to everybody?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Change it." And within 2 weeks, he started getting responses back and bookings, and that was it. So tailor your message, give them value in the message, and package it so that they have options.
Can you tell me the different packages? Like because most of my stuff's like, because I work out, I don't work FIFO, I work drive in, drive out, but it's the same type of thing. So I'm always in the high vis. So if I'm going to hit up Hard Yakka to see if they want to sponsor me and do some sort of thing there, what would I hit them up with? Like, can you give me an example of the packages? Would it be like do one post, a series of posts, and how much roughly would I charge?
I'd look at what they're already doing and seeing if they're already got a campaign or like a system with that. And if they don't, it may be a bit tougher, or it can maybe be a new proposal of interest for them. The only problem with that is it depends on who the decision maker is. Is it the marketing person, or is it the higher up with the directors? And you need to have the decision maker at the end of the line to talk to, because Chinese whispers come down and you will be out of luck by the time it gets to the decision maker. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing people don't realize. The next thing is, in terms of packages, this is where just trial and error comes in. In the first month, you may not get it right at all, but in the second year, you'll know exactly what to say, what to price yourself, and you'll be able to probably be comfortable with walking away from their rejection because you know your value. Most creators coming into the game, they don't know their value, and you just need to have a baseline goal and go from there. The other thing is, if you don't want to do drive in, drive out anymore, and you want to do this as your main thing, we're going to reverse engineer everything I just said and start with what is your ultimate figure, or let's go first year figure that you want to make, right? So this is talking about rates now, and reverse engineer that with how many brand deals you want to do in a year to make that sum. And then it's just a matter of dividing that sum by the number of clients, number of promotions, number of sponsorships you want to do. So let's say, for example, 100,000, and you do 100 sponsored posts in a year. Divide 100,000 by 100. You've got $1,000 per sponsored post. Done. And don't take any less than that. That's it. You can do a 200 posts. Because you don't feel like you have enough value or enough audience reach with your 200,000 followers, then hey, 200 posts, sponsored posts. If you can do 1 or 2 every week, there's your 50 to 100 there. If you can do 2 or more, there's your 200. So it's all maths based first, and then you go from there. But most people just start with, all right, let's get someone. which is great. You know, you got to get your first one out of the bat, but it's actually easier when you have a starting point and a finishing point in mind, and then you can just fill in the middle and then strategize from that, just like any business plan. So that's what I did with my weddings, right? So with my weddings, is my dog. With my weddings, I had, my goal was to make $100,000, right? And to do that, I needed to do like 30 weddings or 40 weddings at the rate that I was doing. And to accomplish that, because weddings are booked over a year in advance, I would have to take a 50% deposit to make that 100 grand in the first year. And to do that, I reverse engineered that. And I said, okay, how many bookings is that per month that I needed to secure and get the deposit for that? And if they said, yes, that we're keen, I wasn't celebrating until the money was in my bank account, because then they sign a contract saying it's non-refundable if they decide to change their mind, right? Give or take, you know, situations. But then what happened after that was within 6 months, I managed to do it because I had a goal in mind. I remember 1 week I booked 6 weddings and I was like, sweet, I've just filled my quota for the next 6 months. This is dope. So yeah, just reverse engineering.
All right. So just to get to the exact facts off you. So if I reach out to Hard Yakka,
yep,
I'll reach out and say, like, show them I'll basically film a TikTok that they would actually like or whatever, like a example of what I would do for them type thing. And
yes,
then I'd say $1,000 per post, and there'd be 5 posts over a space of 2 months. Is that like realistic type thing, or is that undercharging or overcharging?
I would say give it a go and see what they say, but you need to have the initial financial goals in place to answer your own question. So if you say it's too much or too little, I can't answer that because I don't know your financial goals in a 12-month period. So yeah, that's it. That's the bottom line. Like if you have a target to aim for, you'll have a better result to hit it. If you don't have a target to aim for, you're going to be guessing and second guessing yourself with what your value is worth, because everybody's priceless. You know, you only live once. Everybody has the capability of making $1 billion. And how to make $1 billion is like this. You get a product, and this is something that I've read about. I haven't done it yet, but you have a product and you sell it to someone, and then you sell your second product to them. If they buy the second product really quickly, that means your first product is like, it's ready for everybody else in that market. You got to scale it. Then after you sell the second product, you know, you see what happens with the third one, and then you're away. You just multiply that however many more times you need for $1 billion. And then you sell that model to someone, and there's your exit. So going back to the Hard Yakka thing, if you have 5 posts over 2 months, you know, what's that, 8 weeks, less than 1 post per week on your channel. Let's say you've got other brands that you're sponsored with as well. One tip I definitely recommend people do is don't alienate your audience full of sponsored ads. 1 or 2 a month, maybe 3 at best, or I would go 80-20. So every 4 videos, you can do the 5th video as a sponsored post. But make sure that it doesn't look like an ad. You can't just go buy this product because I'm on it. You know, you got to talk about it. But back to the rates question, you need to make sure that you know your worth and then give it a go. $1,000 per post, $5,000 for the next 2 months. Give it a go. See what they say. But that's only one package. What are the other 2 packages that you can give them a little bit of leeway? What happens if they want to just do 1 post? What happens if it's 3 posts? Best case scenario, what if they want to do 10 posts? What if they want to do 2 a week? Obviously, you're not going to say yes to that because that breaks that rule that I recommend. What if it's 1 a week, right? What if you go to the next level and say, hey, do you need someone to manage your hard yakka TikTok account? That's what I do. And there's way more money in that than doing sponsored posts on your own channel. And that's what I've done. So.
All right. So I've got you. I've listened to everything you said. I've got the whole reverse engineering thing. All I want to know is if you do reach out to a brand, I know you're saying it's what I think I'm worth, but I don't, you know, if I think I'm worth $10,000 per post,
Right.
more than likely the marketing person's going to laugh at you, go, you're not worth 10,000.
Why do they think that you're not worth 10,000?
Well, basically what I'm trying to get out of you is basically what is a realistic, because you say you're going to start an agency. So if I might be reaching out to you in the future as like somebody to set me up, I want to know basically what is a realistic rate that marketing people are accepting at the moment and stuff like that.
It differs. There's a range. It ranges between someone lowballed, not lowballed me, but someone quoted me $800 the other day, and I closed a deal for $5,000 just yesterday for a post.
So it's 5,000 per post.
Well, I can do more than that. It's
Okay.
just I'm still playing the game. I'm still always testing. I'm seeing American negotiating social media gurus saying that I can make more than $10,000 a post, right? And you know, like this time last year, I was charging $4,000 per wedding. Now I'm charging over $9,000, right?
Yeah.
So it actually, the more you charge doesn't really necessarily come down to knowing your worth. It's coming down to knowing how much your time is worth, which is technically the same thing, I guess. But if your sales pipeline, which means how booked you are in advance, if your sales pipeline is 2 years, you can afford to play real high and go, I'm going to do this next collaboration, the next collaboration request I get via email, I'm going to quote $10,000. And if they say no, fuck it, right? But then if you have different packages, they can't say yes or no. They have an option. Again, fear of rejection, get over it. Because fear of missing out, FOMO, shouldn't be fear of missing out on a client. It should be the fear of missing out on a bigger client, more than anything in the world. Yeah. And when I realized that, I was like, holy crap, you're right. And that example was solidified with when I booked a wedding for 3 hours down south last year in November. A week later, someone had wanted the same date for a full day wedding in Perth for 3 times the price. So I missed out on a bigger client because I was like, oh yeah, I'll take the three hour one because it's right there right now. Yep, I'll take it. I missed out on triple the money for that day, you know? But because I had integrity and I didn't bail on that first client and said, oh, sorry, someone offered more, I actually ended up getting a second wedding out of that first wedding. So, you know, play the game and look at the people who you're dealing with. And if you go, you know what, this agency is actually a pretty good agency, I'm going to give them a little bit of a discount. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to give them a little bit of discount because I want to build rapport with this brand because I feel like they could give me more work ongoing. And that's a hard one to master because charity actually gives you the best return on investment. You doing stuff for free could eventually lead to you getting a huge job. And that's where creating content on your page for free, for fun, to practice, to create your resume, your highlight reel in your TikTok or Instagram. People go, man, he's already made this content. Let's make this a Spark ad. Actually, let's see if we can make another 5 more for $1,000 each. Well, let's see what his rates are. Then you pull the trigger. So it is really more a case-by-case basis. And this is what I mean by don't message people the same template that you get. You got to actually do your research. You got to go into every brand and go, right, what are they worth? What's a campaign that they've done and their average spend was? Reach out to other influencers who have done previous campaigns with Hard Yakka and gone, hey, how much do they pay you? Some of them have an NDA and they're not allowed to say, but it's worth a try. Do your research. You don't have to respond to them straight away. Or do the caveman and go, what's your budget? If they give it up straight away, then you're ready to party. But also in saying that, when you do find out their budget, never aim for the most. Let's say you want to get as much money as you can, and they say their budget's 10 grand. Don't just go, oh yeah, I could do it for 10 grand. Give them different packages leading up to that 10 grand, and maybe go $500 or $1,000 below the 10 grand. So then they feel like they're saving money with you. It's just different tactics. Try them all. Try all of them. So yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I got enough information. I think I have to re-listen to the whole thing again.
Sorry. I just go on rants, so I go on tangents and stuff. I listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson, so he's the goat of tangents. Yep. Just to give you a little bit more though, for you personally, like a coaching thing, I would start with a baseline figure, let's say $500, right? Something that you're comfortable with. If they reject you for that, then it's not because you're not worth 500. It's because you haven't given them enough value for them to go, yes, that's worth it. So it really depends on how you word your leverage, word your situation. It's most of these agencies and brands look at numbers. So how many followers does this guy have? Oh, he's got 10,000 followers. He'll be cheap. Oh, he's got 200,000 followers. All right, it's going to be probably worth more than $1,000. There's no right answer for this. They're all right answers. There's no wrong answers for this. It really depends on what you see your worth and what you portray your worth, and if they see what that worth is. So start with 500 and go, sweet, I've done that. I've gotten a job for 500. Never go below. Don't do it. Do it again. And then going back to that sales pipeline thing, if you're 3 month sales pipeline, go up to 600, 1,000, whatever. If you get rejected more than, let's say, 60% of the time, and then your red line is catching up to you where your sales pipeline is less than a month, then you might have to start to either look at your negotiation skills or your pitch deck or your rate card or whatever it is that you send to them and say, where is this going wrong? And then go back and, back to the drawing board. But if that sales pipeline is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I sure as hell hope that you're increasing your rates, because I'm seeing people still offer peanuts and they're booked out for the next 6 months in any industry they're in. It's like, okay, what are you doing? Work smarter, not harder, right? Going from 40 weddings 2 years ago or last year to 20 weddings next year and making more money next year than last year. Yeah, that's the difference. And I have more time to do other stuff. So there's a whole formula involved.
All right. Can I ask this question? And you can not answer if you want. The Red Rooster campaign, can you tell me that, like how many posts you have to do and how much you actually get for it?
For on my own account or me managing their account?
Oh, so you're managing theirs. All I've seen is your Red Rooster one, and I thought straight away, I was like, how much does he charge and how much does he actually get for this? Like, so I can think in the future for myself.
So with Red Rooster, there is a NDA for me getting paid by them to help for their accounts.
Yeah.
But for my own personal stuff, it started off with I think it was like $1,200 back when I had less than, I think, 350,000 followers. And then they said, can you put it on Instagram as well? And I just said, yep, repurpose fee is this. And they said, yep. And I was like, sick. And then I looked at their TikTok account and I was like, you guys have got 182 followers. Do you guys need someone to manage this? And they're like, yep. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah, sick. All I'll say is very, very high numbers they pay. But for me, my own personal stuff, it started out with $1,200. My personal best is 6.5 for a campaign, not with Red Rooster, someone else. But it just goes up. It's just a matter of how much you want it and how desperate you are. If you're more desperate, your negotiations are going to be a little bit shit because you're more vulnerable. But if you don't care and you don't care about loss of income, potential income, then know your worth. Especially if they reach out to you, you have all the leverage. Firstly, if you reach out to them, they have all the leverage, right? So you need to put the ball in their court as quickly as possible. It's like dating. You don't ask a chick out. You ask her which place does she want to go to. That's it. Give her options, not a yes, no, just like business.
Did Red Rooster initially hit you up or did you hit them up?
Yeah. Red Rooster hit me up and they said, hey, we like your chicken wing technique. Can you do that with our new spicy chicken wings? I was like, yeah, sick. I remember when McDonald's hit me up for an event for Adventure World. They invited me to an event. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. This will be fun. What do you want me to do? They're like, oh, hang out with the staff, all this and that. And yeah, just enjoy the night. And I was like, sweet, sounds good. Yeah, I'll email you the details and we'll see you there. And I was like, sweet. By the way, before you go, who do I send the invoice to? So they thought that they escaped they got me for free, but no. Where do I send the invoice to? And that's when they asked me for my rates. It's all a chess game. And if they reach out to you, you have all the leverage. And you can kind of see it in the email. I've learned this from when I was a personal trainer with business, a wedding photographer. It's the way they word it. If they don't really include your name or talk about your content specifically, it's a cut and paste and they're just shopping around. Don't waste too much time with them and don't get too disheartened if they say no. They're probably looking for the cheapest option anyway. And you got to stay strong and not be that person. You can still experiment though and say, right, I'm going to play with this one and give them different options, try something new out and see what they do. If they say yes, then sweet, you win. If they say no, oh, well, on to the next one. There'll always be a next one if you're continuing producing content. I've had KFC hit me up and I said, sorry, I'm in with Red Rooster. Unfortunately, I can't do this with you because you probably want exclusivity like everybody else does. And I've had other out of hospitality industries hit me up and said, we want exclusivity. And I said, yes, sweet. It's going to cost you extra though, because there's a lot more money on the table with your competitors if I do that with them as well. Yeah. Know your worth and put the ball in their court, because if they come to you and say, hey, Sev, really love your content. We really love this video. We really feel that you're aligning with our brand. Here's what we have to do. If you want to call me anytime or set up a Zoom call, we'd love to chat about it more. That is a really good example of what you want to hear from an email coming to you, because they've done their research. They're doing it properly. They don't, because a lot of agencies, most of them, they just have lists of all the emails, of all the creators, what their rough following is, what their rough budget is that they've given away, because they all talk to each other, I think. Some of them do. And then I've seen the lists and there's so much inconsistency. I've seen people with 2-3 million followers who are charging $1,500. And I've seen people who have 300,000 followers who are charging $4 or $5 grand, and people are hiring them. So it's all over the place. But it's because most of these people are not business savvy and they don't know how to negotiate. And that's where I come in as well as an agency person. I want to help influencers do better with that, because at the end of the day, all of them want to become full-time content creators.
Yeah.
But their negotiation and business skills do not have them ready for it. They're popular, they're good looking, they're funny, whatever, they have value. But when it comes to the finance side, there's no real target for them to hit. They just wing it. And then 5 years later, they get spit out and say, oh, I did that for a little while. Didn't work out. But yeah, it didn't work out because it just didn't have a target.
So when do you start your agency?
It's technically already going. It's just I haven't announced it yet because I'm just finalizing a few of the back end things. get my logos today, which is really cool. And I've got a few templates, onboarding templates, pitch decks, briefing templates that I'm creating for influencers to get them on board. And my approach is going to be a little bit different to most agencies as well. And I'll give you the scoop. I'm doing something where I'm not really interested in their influence on their end. I'm interested in their videos. If they can create videos for me to post on my end, that's it. It's not really more of an influencer marketing campaign. It's more of a, you're good with the camera, create content for me and I'll pay you for your time. You don't have to post anything on your end.
Yeah.
So I really want to see how that plays out, because I firmly believe that I reckon I can do a better job hiring people who are micro influencers. The definition of that is anyone with less than 10,000 followers, I guess. And who are just doing it for fun still, because they put more effort into it. Whereas bigger influencers I see nowadays, they take the piss and the product sucks, mainly because they don't really use it often. Like I saw a V, and you know, V Energy, the drink, the
energy drink.
saw this, yeah. I saw a few of these influencers do this in their campaign, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This is terrible. People and people are paid for this content. It sucks. It's just what I'm seeing, you know. And then there's me. I'm going, damn, I would have done a way better job. But I don't drink V. I barely drink Red Bull, so you know, Red Bull would be a cool sponsor, but it'd be more for adventure stuff, not drinking the Red Bull. But yeah, it's just the intent. I like working with people that aren't up themselves, you know, who doesn't, and who have that flexibility of more time and going, yeah, oh, sweet, someone's wanting me to make content for them. Absolutely. You get them early enough and they're yours for life, I guess. It's like finding good draft picks in the NBA or the footy.
All right, so here's a question. So if I was to become a client of yours or something like that, if you're interested, so you're saying, would you get, just wait, so it's going to be in a couple of parts, because what you've said is you'd get me to make content for your page, but would you also set up the sponsorships for my page? How would your agency work there?
So the way that I've approached it is two different ways. One is you just creating content for me.
Yeah.
And you just create content for me from, you know, the people around you and yourself. And you're more of a talent than an influencer, like an actor, a body. The other way is we do the influencer side, but you also make an alternative video, which is very similar, but just exclusive to my channel. Because what I've noticed with clients is they repost influencers' posts that they put on their end, and they do poorly on the brand side because it's a copy, it's a duplicate, and TikTok doesn't like that. I have this superstition theory that they flag as a duplicate. They don't like it. The problem to solve there is create an alternative video so that it's not exactly the same and just push it out at the same time, or depending on budget from whoever it is that I'm dealing with, Spark ads the video of the other person, and that's the play. So I would get you to do videos for me for whatever I think that you'd be good for, and give it a go first. One video to trial with, to see how, one, you do it without me having to redo it, like ask you, can you re-edit this for me? And two, to see if you liked it, because I'm not putting anyone on a retainer until they tell me that they enjoyed making that content and it was actually good content. Worst case is they made really good content, but they really didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But they see the money in it and then they do it anyway. But the deadline is pushed back because they don't really enjoy doing it. And that's a shit show. Another one is if they really enjoyed doing it and the content was shit and I have to tell them how to change it, which is more of my time, you know. But it's all these challenges of becoming an agency, becoming an influencer manager, I guess. It also comes down to the coaching as well. So coaching them how to tell a story properly, how to hook an audience in, how to keep them engaged, and how to have a conclusion that gets people to where I want them to go, whether it's a follow or a booking or a purchase. It's a hard one without being too much of an ad. That and also the business skills that I help my creators with, because the number one question is, what are you doing with your time right now to buy more time back in the future? That's it.
That was awesome. We definitely we went well over time. It's normally a 40-minute podcast, but I
Sorry,
think
I can't handling.
that was too much value. There's a lot of value I was getting out of you. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I think I'm definitely going to rewatch this one and learn some new stuff every time I rewatch it. Hey, where can everybody find you online?
You can find me at SevsPics, SEVSPICS on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on LinkedIn, Seva Mozhaev, SEVAMOZHAEV. And there's also a YouTube channel floating around called The Seva Show. And there's also a podcast by the same name. And that's it, sevspics.com. Go there. That's going to be new very soon, relaunched. Currently still live, but yeah. And yeah, hit me up in the DMs, email me. You know where to go. Start from Instagram or TikTok.
Sweet. And anything you want to leave the audience with? Anything at all?
Life's too short to do something that you don't like. And when you do something that you don't like, later on, you'll regret it because you'll feel like you've wasted your life. So if you're in a position to be able to change that, do it. If you're not in a position to change that, you're wrong.
Awesome. That was a good one. All right, cool.
No worries.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. Did you have fun?
I had fun. Absolutely. Love the questions. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how you go with the episode and what you do with it.
Awesome stuff. Oh, yeah, massive thanks for Sev for coming on the show. And I'd like to thank you, the listener or watcher, for watching. Please tell a friend about the podcast. Have a fantastic day. All right, bye.